Hi and welcome to Phoenix Crypto. My name's Andy. Welcome to another episode of Market Watch. So just a quick recap on the last few days, which I think everyone's probably been pretty aware of. We've had this big drop here. We've consolidated for a couple of days, dropped a little bit further, and we got this very nice bounce off the 56k support line. And we've bounced off there, and that's a trade actually that me and my community have taken quite nicely. What do I think is going to happen next? You can already see this red candle here. I think we are going to retest this line of support. I am hoping for a bounce. This trend line intersects with some really important points in this bull cycle. It starts off with a previous all-time high that was done in April. Intersects here, and you can see the respect, and it's an incredibly important trend line. If we get the bounce I want and we come up, if we cannot get above that trend line, I think we're going to go down. If we go above this trend line, then that is extremely bullish, extremely, and will be very significant. If we go down, I think we'll end up around about the 50 to 52k mark. Do I think we can dip down a little bit further? Of course we can. Do I think it's likely? Probably not. And if we do, I think it will be a wick, and I think it will be a wick to stop and liquidate a lot of people on their longs. That's exactly what I think it will happen. So this trend line, super important. In fact, we're probably coming up to some really important days in Bitcoin. Looking very quickly at market cipher, we've got the 4 hour here. You can see that VWAP curving round quite nicely. The money flow is still quite negative, still very much in the red, quite thick. Doesn't really look like it's coming up just yet. You can see the tiniest little break above the zero line. If we do get that dip, which is what I'm talking about, then what I think is going to happen is we're going to form a nice trigger wave. And we actually need price to come down. We actually need another dip in order to get that upward momentum and movement. So that's what I think is going to happen. If I look at the daily, let me just get rid of that. Get rid of this. You can see the VWAP coming up quite nicely, just coming up nicely there. If I go to the hour, it's already dipped down. Money flow is starting to get better, but it's not quite there yet. Already got that red dot. So you can see that the retest of that support line is on. It's definitely on. If I look at Ethereum, you can see here this lovely trend line I've just drawn. That is showing we're likely to come down. We've got that downward momentum. We're already underneath the zero line for the VWAP. If I go to the 4 hour, angling down. If I go to the daily though, it's a little bit more positive than Bitcoin. We're just at the zero line. So hopefully we can still have a positive day coming up. So hopefully this 4 hour drives that retest that I want, and we go up. Now let's look at what I've drawn here on price action for Ethereum. I've drawn this downward channel here. Not completely convinced this is wholly nailed on, but you can see a level of respect here. It's broken up, retested, failed, come down below, broken up. I think we can retest, and then we can actually move back up again. And in terms of what my community traded with me on Ethereum, we got in around over here, and this was our second take profit target, which we've achieved. So it's been a very, very nice trade. Just moving to Cryptograph, you can see a red dot here. That's showing that the VWAPs across multiple timeframes are aligning, which is not a surprise, at all. You can see here, this is bearish. It's just crossed over, and there's that purple there showing bearish. That VWAP obviously showing us further downward movement. Although it doesn't have a red dot, the lack of dots is showing that it's reversing from what would have been the previous, which would have been green. So that is looking a little bearish on Bitcoin via Cryptograph there, which is not a surprise. We've got some of my favourite at the moment, Keltner Bands, and you can see here the reaction as it comes really deep into that cloud, comes up, doesn't always come straight up, because it came up here, obviously it's come back down again, so it doesn't mean that it's just only going up, but clearly we have moved quite substantially. You can see this line here, we're now above that line. That's quite important, because this will now provide a level of support, so we can probably test that before moving back up again. This little trend line here has already gone green, but this larger macro trend line is still very red, which is unsurprising looking at how much we've dipped. But this is fantastic, and it's a very good tool. You can see this green box here, that's a level of support and resistance. Is acting as resistance right this minute, but actually when we're over here it would be support, and we've got this other major support level here, which is around the previous all-time high. I'm going to show you something a little different. Now I've drawn a possible harmonics pattern. These are well-known trading patterns, and this one is showing what needs to happen in order to get some real big upward movement, right? On where we can end up being. Now, don't mistake this as a price prediction like plan B, it is not. It is just trying to indicate the kind of movement that we would need to see over the next 15 days, because that's what I've drawn here. It's 15 days here to get to this kind of marker, okay? And clearly you're going to need to see substantial moves up. Now this is actually a bearish pattern, so although we haven't quite got there, when we get so be bullish for us from where we are today to get to here, okay? But actually having achieved this, it is a bearish pattern and we will go down. Now you can see we had this all-time high here back in April. What happened? Dipped down, slight recovery, dipped even further down, and that was a almost 44% move. That's a big payday. Big payday. So as we start reaching up here, it's something to watch out for that reversal. And when we reverse, we are going to drop quite substantially. We've obviously had a new all-time high up here, and here we have reversed, but not nearly as hard as there. But this is if we achieve this pattern, it is a bearish pattern. It will show a big move down. But this was just to illustrate where are we on where do I think we need to be and what do I think needs to happen. And you can see the price doesn't always follow exactly the line. It ranges a little bit, so this is not really a problem. Okay, we can still make it up there. That's okay. But we're obviously going to need to reverse, and it will be some fun few days as we move up. But that's what I'm looking for. Ethereum, we actually have a well-formed pattern. This is not a prediction, this is an actual pattern that has fully formed, unlike the previous one, which is partly formed, okay, and we need that last leg here. This is fully formed now and is actually a bullish pattern, and from where we are now, that is a further 12% move to my target price, okay, which is around 4,810. If I go to Cardano, it's very similar. Bullish pattern, making nice progress. Got another 22% to go to hit my target. Do I think we can get there? Absolutely. Do I think we're going to go up in a straight line? Absolutely not. Okay, that's not how price works. But you can see the pattern having formed very nicely. And these are well-known, well-respected trading patterns. There are lots of them. They all have lots of fun names. Batwing, Cypher are two popular ones. There's lots and lots of them out there. Research them, look them up. They are very useful and a great addition to doing technical analysis in your trading. And then I want to shout out for this trade that my community took. We shared this trade in my with my premium members in Discord. We've got this fantastic trend line, which you can see intersects here, 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 here. Now, quite, and you can see the importance of that trend line. How many times it keeps intersecting there? How many times? You know, incredibly important, right? We got this beautiful bounce off here, absolutely beautiful. And I think we set 9 take profit targets, of which we've hit all 9. So that would have been on 50x, 450%. Incredible trade. Congratulations to everyone in my community who took it with me. And these are the kinds of trades that we really enjoy doing in my group. If I just go back to Bitcoin, just to do the recap. If I go to the 4 hour, you can see the Bollinger Band curving outward, showing that we are coming up to more volatility. That is a good indication. Where it narrows is where we're consolidating. Okay, so we're now, as it goes outward, it's looking for a little bit more action. You can see it's obviously turned green, so it's looking bullish, but we are not there yet. Absolutely not there yet. We will need, it is very difficult to see. I'm going to see if I can find a similar, well, that's a big anchor wave. You can see we needed some smaller trigger waves in order for us to get some huge movement to the upside. We've had a nice move to the upside, but it's not a huge move to the upside. So we are undoubtedly going to have to come down a little bit more, and we need to get that kind of trigger wave, right? And that's how we're going to catapult up. So we've still got a little bit of room to go at the moment. I still think we need to come down before we need to go back up again. We'd always like it to go straight up. It doesn't happen. It's not realistic. It's not how trading works. It's not how price action works. But that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a dip. I'm looking for it to go back up. How big that dip is anyone's question, really. And I outlined here, you know, it's all about what we do with that. We reject off there. We are coming down, and there'll be a big dip. If we can just get if we can get above, then maybe this little dip here might be sufficient. Okay, and that's what we're really looking for. But this trend line, a little bit like the one like this one, okay, incredibly important. Incredibly important. You get above that, bullish. Very, very bullish. Right, thank you very much for joining me. If you like the content, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Thank you for joining me. If you want to be part of my Discord community, then there's a link in the description below. Feel free to join in. I think we've got a few polls in the Discord for a couple of fun little things. So join and be part of that community. Thank you very much for joining me, and I'll get another episode out in a day or two.